Why won't the ADL learn that appeasement doesn't stop fascists? The FBI just cut ties with the Anti-Defamation League. That break is historic, and it proves what historians have been telling us for a century. Appeasement never works. Collaborating with fascists or giving them ground will never save you. It only makes you weaker, and it gives them momentum. For decades, the ADL trained law enforcement on anti-Semitism, extremism, and civil rights. They helped define how America understood hate. Now, under Trump's control, the FBI has walked away. The same federal agency once trained by the ADL is now run by people trying to use it as a political weapon. This rupture didn't come out of nowhere. MAGA influencers and Elon Musk led a pressure campaign because the ADL listed Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA in its extremism glossary many years ago. Because Turning Point USA was a vector for racist, homophobic, and other bigoted beliefs that turned angry young white men into violent extremists. And instead of defending its researchers from this anti-Semitic harassment campaign against the ADL, ADL leadership caved. They deleted the entire glossary. But that act of appeasement didn't protect them. It emboldened the fascists. And now the FBI will no longer work with the ADL to do things like keep synagogues safe during this high holy season. The excuse from Kash Patel's FBI came straight out of MAGA propaganda, that the ADL was spying on Americans and running disgraceful ops. What they're really talking about is research, gathering public information on extremists, the same work that I've been doing through Task Force Butler, work that protects communities, holds fascists accountable, and drags them into court instead of letting them terrorize people in the streets. But instead of defending that work, the ADL's leadership issued a submissive statement expressing deep respect for the Bureau, respect for an agency that's now been instructed by President Trump to hunt anti-fascists like me. It's hard to overstate how big this is. For decades, the FBI relied on the ADL as its main trainer on anti-Semitism and extremism. Generations of agents learned about hate groups through ADL briefings. Now that partnership is shattered. That's how deep MAGA pressure has warped our institutions. And how did Jonathan Greenblatt, the ADL CEO, respond? Not with courage, not with defiance, but with appeasement. Greenblatt has turned the ADL into a political gatekeeper, one more focused on defending the crimes of a foreign government than defending Jewish communities here at home. Years ago, he declared that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, weaponizing that charge to silence Palestinians, Jews, and allies who dared to stand against genocide. He smeared student protesters on college campuses, giving Trump the political ammo that he needed to defund universities, to gut DEI programs, and to brand peaceful protest as terrorism. 2 years ago, Greenblatt even suggested the National Guard should be deployed to campuses to protect Jewish students. That normalized the idea of turning the military on civilians in the minds of many Americans, and paved the way for Trump to unleash militarized force against dissent nationwide. Meanwhile, over the last few years, Elon Musk has become the loudest megaphone for anti-Semitism in the world. After he bought Twitter, he personally reinstated neo-Nazis like Andrew Anglin and Nick Fuentes to bring them back and give them a platform. Elon Musk himself has endorsed anti-Semitic posts as the actual truth. Millions of Americans watched live as Elon Musk raised his arm in a Nazi salute not once but twice at Trump's inauguration. And Elon keeps threatening to sue the ADL for billions. And what has Greenblatt been doing about Musk? Well, he's been praising him. He defended him. Even as advertisers fled Twitter, the ADL keeps buying ads. Rather than fight against one of the world's biggest and most powerful sources of anti-Semitism, Greenblatt whitewashes him and supports him. He's a collaborator with fascists. The cost of that collaboration isn't just measured in lost credibility for the ADL, it's paid by ADL's own staff, the researchers in the Center on Extremism who actually do the work. They live in that online violence every day. They track hate groups, write reports, and keep communities safe. But Greenblatt sacrificed them again and again. Deleting the glossary on extremism was just the latest example. I've seen the fallout personally, with my own eyes. In coalition spaces where anti-fascist researchers gather, people self-censor when ADL enters the room. They hold back, afraid that their work is going to be compromised or weaponized. Even ADL staff know this, and some just step back to avoid damaging collaboration between other organizations. It's a sad state of affairs when the best thing that the ADL staff can do to contribute to inter-organizational cooperation is leave the room. And this is all happening as the Trump administration criminalizes anti-fascism itself. Under National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, the government is now labeling anti-fascist ideology as a potential terrorism threat. That means Task Force Butler, Veterans Fighting Fascism, and other grassroots networks across the country could be targeted simply for defending their communities from neo-Nazis. And here's the irony. The ADL is now in the crosshairs. Despite years of appeasement, Trump and MAGA still brand the ADL as an enemy. Greenblatt has legitimized the tools of repression, and now they're going to be turned against his own staff. This is the dead end of appeasement. Fascists don't spare collaborators. History shows it again and again. Real anti-fascism demands courage. It demands solidarity with local communities. And it demands movement leaders that refuse to bow to power. That's what Task Force Butler does. That's what Veterans Fighting Fascism does. We expose fascists, we protect communities, we build networks of resistance grounded in love for our neighbors, and don't stop so that we can get invitations to Trump White House holiday parties. The ADL's staff deserve better than leaders who undermine their work, and America deserves institutions willing to fight fascism without compromise. Appeasement is death. Resistance is survival. In order for the ADL to return to its critical work that is more important now than it ever has been before, Jonathan Greenblatt must resign. If you agree, if you've learned anything from this video, do me a favor and engage with it. Make sure you're following for more. Like, share, leave a comment. A lot of the things that I talked about in this video get censored by the algorithms on a bunch of these apps, but your engagement can help this message break through. And to read my deep dive on the ADL and their recent breakup with Kash Patel's FBI, check out onoffense.substack.com.